So, Shopify shipped an update on July 10th that a lot of people are treating as the fix for hreflang problems, a toggle that turns automatically generated tags on or off. I want to walk through what it actually does because there's a real gap left open, something I'm calling the Hreflang Diagnostics Gap. The toggle confirms tags exist, but it was never built to confirm they're correct. The setting is 1 bit live under online store, preferences, social sharing, and SEO. Turn it off, and Shopify stops generating its own tags, useful when a theme or app already outputs its own. Before this, a merchant's only option was asking support to disable it by hand with no self-service fix. The toggle closes that real support gap, but it checks nothing, so no report on what's live or no correctness check. Here's the part that actually determines whether hreflang works. It's a property of the whole cluster and not any single page. Google's own rule: if two pages don't point back to each other, the tags then get ignored. A merchant forum thread shows this concretely. A store had hreflang correctly configured between its US and Canadian pages, and Google still picked the US page as canonical because the two differed only in currency. The tags were right, and Google's duplicate content handling overrode them anyway, invisibly from inside Shopify's admin. Here's the part I've actually run into doing this audit work myself. A CDN or firewall can intercept the response before it ever reaches a crawler, invisible to Shopify's toggle entirely. I've watched the exact same referenced URL return a 403 under a Chrome or Firefox TLS profile, and a 200 under Safari behind the same CDN on the same day. The cause is TLS handshake fingerprinting, the technique Cloudflare and Akamai publicly describe for bot management. It's flagging the handshake and not the request. Here's how I actually verify a cluster. First, map it outward from the home page and check reciprocity. Does every reference get a return link back? Because a one-way tag is inert. Secondly, confirm every referenced URL actually resolves its real status, not just that exists on the page. So running both checks from more than one client profile, because a cluster that looks fine in your own browser can still be silently under-delivering to the crawler. So where does that leave the toggle? It's a real fix for the support gap that existed before July 10th. Reciprocity, canonical selection, and CDN level interception all sit outside what an on-off switch can see. Closing that needs an actual diagnostics view, a per URL report on what's live and whether it reciprocates and resolves across more than one client profile. That's the hreflang diagnostics gap, and nobody has shipped it yet. But if you're running a multi-market Shopify store, here is the practical move. Check reciprocity and resolution across the whole cluster and probe it from more than one client profile before you assume the toggle finished the job. The toggle being on and hreflang working are two different claims, and only one is checkable from the admin panel. Full mechanics and the forum case are in the write-up on the site, and if you run into this yourself, I'd love to hear more about it.